week out in advance. Can I visit my elderly parents? We have all been isolated for weeks. Amanda, do you want to tackle that one?
Yes. So before the pandemics really ramped up, I was in London away from my family and friends for 3 months, basically isolated, except I got to see Jen. That was good. So I hear you, and I hear everybody who's longing to visit family, because I barely saw any of my family once we got back, and then we have been under safer at home. And I think even though families are, if you're doing a good job isolating within your household, one of you is still likely going to the grocery store or spending some time outside your home. And I think, your parents are probably also doing that, right? And so anytime we sort of open up a path for there to be transmission between us and other people, and anytime we're outside of our homes, we're still having the potential to be exposed to coronavirus. And so I would refrain from doing interactions or getting together with family, even if you've been isolating for a few weeks, just because there's still that opportunity to transmit. And because people who are older or have chronic health conditions are at greater risk, that could be your family could meet those criteria, and you'd be at increased risk of complications and death if they acquire the infection. So I think, the more we can keep our social contacts limited at this point in the trajectory of the pandemic, we need to do that still.
And we got a couple of related questions about, can we have play dates if the other family has been isolating from everyone else? And then there's another one about planning a vacation with another family that has also been isolating. So do you think those situations are any different?
No. I'll jump back in and say, no, you basically subsume the risk of their exposures when you sort of combine households, whether it's for a play date or for a vacation. And so that means that the risks that their risk of exposure becomes your risk of exposure, right? Like they went to the grocery store and had exposure, you get together with them, it's the same thing as if you had gone to the grocery store and had exposure. And so the more we open up our social circles, the more personal risk we have, and then the more risk we have that next time we go to the store, we will transmit to somebody else.
Yeah, one useful way that I like to think about it, we also have older parents, grandparents of my children who live nearby, and we would really like to visit them. But I every time I think, well, maybe it's okay at this point. We've all been home for a month. It's probably no big deal. And then I think, oh, but I was at the grocery store last weekend. What if I got sick the day after we went to visit them? How would I feel about having exposed them at that point?